with Dave away on vacation in a cabin somewhere in the woods, out in the middle of nowhere with no internet connection, I wonder who could be taking his place today.
Do you think we should all just start talking like this? And maybe Myles, can you do an American accent?
When I talk about American accents, it's always when I'm ordering stuff, and it's the difference between water and water. So.
Nice. What if we just started talking like this? And you
I love it. Everyone goes back to like the classics, like Oliver Twist, like, "Please, sir, can I have some more?"
And with that, I think we should start the show. This is PSVR Gamescast Live. We film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And thank God it's Friday. My name's Brian Paul from this channel right here, PSVR Without Parole. And the guys to my right, the boys. Poof, that threw me off for a second. Myles from the Myles Dyer YouTube channel. Dude, what's going on, man? What are you doing when you're not taking care of our Instagram account?
Well, I'm trying to get back into like the gaming space because I've been a gamer longer than I've been doing YouTube stuff. So I recently got a setup downstairs. I'm starting streaming on Twitch, and the whole streaming world with VR is a whole other, alien to deal with because, you can't read the chat. So you need to have the robot voice and stuff like that. And I've just been playing a lot of Beat Saber, Synth Riders, and Fracked, obviously, that we'll be talking about today.
Nice. And you're also doing a little bit of stuff on. Can you explain to me what the Quest for Global Empathy is? I think I know, but I'm not sure all these cats out there know.
Sure. Yeah. So it's a podcast show I do, but the video version is on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Myles. And I have guests from all over the world, from all different backgrounds. They might be TV presenters, game developers, scientists. And I just talk to them about their life stories, how they got to where they are. Because often when we see, public figures, it's always amazing to see what they're doing now. But we just try and make it a bit more tangible to say, like, here are the stepping stones of how they got to where they are today, just so that people watching who might aspire to those things go, oh, actually, maybe I could do that one day. And so that's kind of the aim of it.
I really look forward to headlining your show and telling you my story, Myles.
Dude,
how I got to where I am today.
I'm only just getting it up and running again because of the pandemic, and it's why I've sort of got this home setup now. And like seeing the stuff you guys do has been a good inspiration with that. And so I'm really glad to be a part of the show today. And just finally, the PSVR Without Parole Instagram. If you are on Instagram, head on over to it, follow it. We post regular content on there. Obviously, it's never going to beat the great videos on the YouTube channel, but sometimes you might be out and about and you don't want to download a video on your phone, so just flick through the photos and it's reviews and all that good stuff. So yeah, give it a follow if you haven't already.
And you know that Myles has been around for a while because he's verified on Twitter, unlike the rest of us. He's actually got youtube.com/Myles. Like, who the fuck? It's ridiculous.
That was when I used to work for a YouTube network, so I actually used to get the channels for other people, and so while I was there, I was like, all right, I might as well just get the mug as well, And
that guy on the right-hand side of the screen is AJ from the Underground PSVR. Not verified. Underground.
What is up, Brian? What is up, Myles? What is up, Gamecats? Happy Friday. Boy, I am excited. Hopefully we can send you into the weekend with some positive vibes, some positive energy. Lots going on in PSVR land, man, and we can't wait to tell you all about it.
PSVR land is the best land. It's so happy, it's so fucking blurry. It's the best, man. Right? We don't need no goddamn analog sticks over here. Life is
I'm
awesome.
on PS5, baby. It's not blurry anymore.
It's not blurry anymore. Life is good. Guys, a few things we want to take care of before we get the show started. Make sure, if you haven't already joined our Discord, click that link in the description below. That is where this conversation happens 24/7. And that's where we get multiplayer meetups. That's where the nightly box VR meetups happen. That's where everything happens. So get on over there. Click the link. If you've never been on Discord before, Don't worry, neither had I. It's confusing at first, but you'll get the hang of it. Also, if you want to get your name on that list below, patreon.com/without parole games, and give us $1 or more every month to keep these amazing IKEA lights on. They're just absolutely fantastic. But of course, all those people aren't the only people we want to thank, are they, AJ?
They are not. We would like to thank those who support us in another way by changing their name on Google or YouTube to something Gamecat, something Gamecat related, or something Gamecat adjacent, as you and something Gamecat adjacent would like to say. And this week, we have 3 new Gamecats to welcome to the Gamecat Dojo. Starting with...
Wait, there it is.
Slyward 251. The basement switch flipping Gamecat. Oh my God, we found out who it is.
Right, thank God somebody's
It's not
flipping
Lloyd.
switches down there because
It's Slyward.
Lloyd's not doing the job, man. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad we got a replacement for Lloyd.
Oh yeah.
We've also got Mad Max, the Black Game Panther. Aggressive Mad Max. I like it.
That's really aggressive, man. I hope he's being safe out there.
You got to live your life with some passion, with some fire, Brian. Finally, last but not least, we have Pipio Kojima, the Silent Hill Game Cat.
You don't even know how rapidly I'm trying to change these names before they pop up. They're all last week's names. I'm like, no, but here they are. Dude, oh man, Kojima making Silent Hills for VR. Man, we're just happy that Pipo's leading the charge on this shit, man. Good stuff.
Yeah,
It's really,
you're in
really
good hands.
stuff. Absolutely. Man, we've got so much to talk about. Guys, if just heads up, if you change your name to something to Gamecat because you love us almost as much as we love you, make sure somewhere in the comments below, not the live chat, in any comment, any video, hashtag Gamecat, all one word, so we can give you a shout out in next Friday's show, just like we gave these illustrious cats a shout out just now. Hey, Jay, we got to move on, man. We got tons of news to talk about today, don't we?
We do. And guys, it is, what the hell? It is Fracked launch day. I don't know where that came from. Fracked has launched today. It is officially out everywhere. And, we loved it. You can go and check our discussions on it with the positives, with the negatives, with the in-betweens of just us, talking about God knows what. And so make sure you go check those out if you haven't.
But since we got Myles here, I think it's time for everybody knows what you and I think of it. We've talked ad nauseum about Fracked, but
Yes.
Myles, this is your first time being on the show. What did you think of Fracked?
Oh, no pressure, right? Got to make lots of friends here. No, I mean, honestly, I got the deluxe edition, so I got to play it early. And obviously, there's been a lot of talk about the duration of it. And, VR gaming is its own space. And so I always find that if there's a really good quality product and it's a good all-encompassing experience, I think duration becomes less of a negative, just more of a maybe an ambition for the future of I hope there's more to come. And that's really how I felt with this game. It took me, I think, 3.5 hours. I played it in one sitting on a live stream. But for me, a lot of the things that we've already heard before, it's absolutely breathtaking. It's such a beautiful, vibrant game to look at. It's really smooth. I mean, the way they've optimized all the mechanics, the cover system that we often talk about. Funnily enough, when I actually played it the first time on normal, I did a lot of run and gunning, died a lot, and kind of just sort of stuck with the James Bond sort of just going in there. But earlier today, I actually attempted the hard mode, the permadeath mode. I don't know why I decided to do that to myself, and it ended in tears. I don't want to sort of mention the chapters, the number of chapters for spoiler's sake, but I was about halfway through the game, and then I played really cautiously all the way through, used the cover system a lot, and I enjoyed the game in a whole different way because I was using the mechanics that they'd so well developed. But I'm going to be diving back into it again and again. And as someone who used to do a lot of skiing, they've nailed the skiing. The skiing is so good.
Skiing, man. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing. That's the first thing that comes to mind when I think about Fracked is combining that amazing, skiing, explosions, action, shooting. Those segments were by far my favorite, and those were absolutely mind-blowing. And you're totally right about the kind of difficulty having to use the cover system because the AI is kind of aggressive, and I like that. I like a challenge, and I like that if you just run out there and leave yourself exposed, like the AI, the Fracked will frack you up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think they're aggressive, but I also think they're kind of dumb. I think they swarm you in numbers, so you just have to. And I really think that Endream's way around all that was like, oh, we're just going to put an outline on all these guys so that it's impossible for the game to feel cheap because it is the fruit. It's funny how many people don't get that. They're like, well, I ate the fruit and then I never saw the fruit again. What was the fruit about? And it was just like and so you can see the outline of characters, and so you can see it would be nice if you didn't
it heightens the senses. It's performance enhancing fruit.
Do they make you eat
I want to
the fruit?
pretend I knew that last bit already, but I didn't. I knew it was for climbing, but I didn't. But actually, we had a conversation the other day that when I played the demo, I was eating all the fruit, and I was like, "So what does it actually do?" And everyone's like, "Oh, it's so you can see where to climb." I'm like, I'm such an idiot. It was so obvious.
Can you? It would be great if they gave you the option not to eat the fruit. I think they make you eat the fruit, though, right? Like, can you just
yeah. It's one of the tutorial keys, isn't it? So you have to do it to progress.
I think so, but how great would it be, like, just to add extra challenge? If you decide not to eat the fruit, you have to figure out where to climb yourself. You don't see the outline of the enemies, and I do feel like that may be, where it's like you get the laser sight on easy mode. It would be great on hard mode if they got rid of the outline over the characters, just to really drive it home.
Hard mode plus.
Hard mode plus. Yeah.
So this led me to think, did you get to finish it, Miles?
Yeah, I completed it on normal first, yeah, entirely, yeah.
Okay. With the ending kind of leaves it off a little bit on a cliffhanger, no pun intended. But, well, it's not actually like that. But I wanted to ask what do you guys think? Do you think the ending was setting up for a sequel when they maybe mention something about January without going all into it?
I didn't even think about the date.
Do you think maybe sequel, extra content? Do you think we will see more Fracked?
I think it's absolutely. I mean, a big challenge for virtual reality is that developers are having to invest so much time and resources into building systems. They're looking at how do you reduce motion sickness. It's all these issues you don't get in flat screen games. And so I feel that it was a bit of maybe a strange comparison at face value, but I was thinking about this game and Swordsman. These are two games I've really enjoyed, and one of my key takeaways was they've laid the groundwork now, like a platform for building not just additional DLC, but additional games. One of the things that people might say with Fracked is more guns, different enemy types, It's not to take away from what the game is. I think it was, the simplicity was actually, I thought, really, really good. And it's actually a game that if I ever have, I always talk about what are the VR games I would show friends and family who'd never experienced VR before. Fracked is absolutely going to be at the top there because it really does hold your hand, like the beginning with grab the flare gun, shoot it in the sky. You sort of look around and then you go skiing. It's such a great introduction. But I think whether it's going to be on PSVR 2 or DLC in between, they've created a world and lore and great systems that have proven themselves. And if one of the only negatives that is expressed about the game is shame it was too short, well, that's an easy fix. You just create more content.
Yeah, I actually like the way the game ends. It's because I didn't care about the story. It's like I'm not a huge action movie fan, and so I didn't really care too much about the story that was going on during this action movie type game. It was nice to have the voices in the headset to make it feel like there was more substance to give you. The game was lying to you, making it feel like there was more going on than it really was. But there were characters, and there were in their I wouldn't say character development, but there were certainly characters I would like to see or hear more from, even on a surface level in some DLC. I would love the game to pick up exactly where it left off. To be honest with you, without spoiling anything, I would love to be getting out of that situation, or the situation they sort of set up in the voiceovers and in the dialogue and stuff. So there's I think there's an endless potential for more DLC. I don't think that they really have to even go back to the mountain, right? It's just like more of like this main character's plight about like saving himself at a certain point, right? So you don't have to go back to the mountain. Just give us more action sequences. I'd be totally down for that.
Hawk 107 says, cough, cough, it's NGVR. So he thinks it might be a PSVR 2 thing. From what I can tell, I mean, when we've asked about this, they've basically said there are no plans at this time. So I'm going to actually take it for face value there and just say maybe it's a play it by ear situation where, like how Blood and Truth played out, where London Heist demo came out, people absolutely loved it, raved about it, said we want a full game of this. So I think if people ask, if the game does well, if enough people ask for additional content, maybe a sequel, I think it could happen, especially depending on how well it does. But at this time, I think End Dreams is, all we know at this time is that they have multiple projects in the works, and they could be doing something even bigger that we don't know about.
I hope so. Real quick shout out, guys, to Hugh Guyver with the Australian $5 tip. Says PSVR without parole. Fire, fire, fire. Welcome, Miles. Also, Cousin Max says hello. Thank you, Hugh Guyver.
Hello.
We also got the VR Grid with the Canadian $5. It says Fracked. Stay after the credits, boys and girls. Also, shout out to Without Parole. Oh, hey, I know those guys. Thank you, Brian.
What's
Appreciate
up,
it.
Grid? Did you get a quote? Yeah, I think he got a quote. If there was did he get a quote on this one? I don't know. He probably did.
I stopped watching after the Without Parole quote. I was like, I took a screenshot, showed it to my mom and dad, and I ditched. I was like, that's it, man. Like, I don't know what happens after this.
The trailer.
Yeah.
I would just want more skiing, to be honest with you. I want to go skiing more. If I don't get more of it, I'll just go replay those 3 levels 1,000 times because they are incredible.
They need to add a slalom mode. Just they could have all sorts of mini games that are added in it. But you mentioned Blood and Truth. It was actually a game I thought quite a bit about when playing this game because, I might be not remembering correctly, but I was not entirely satisfied with the cover system in Blood and Truth, from what I remember. And playing this game straight away, again, it goes to the heart of there's people that just play games and think, was it a good game or not? And obviously we delve into the mechanics and everything. And so as I was playing this, every step of the way, I was just thinking of all the VR games that would have been so much better if they had this kind of cover system in it, because it works so well. And it's a really important thing in VR because you want to have trust in your environment. Hugo Martin, who is the creative director of id Software, I love all his conversations about Doom and Doom Eternal, and he talks again and again that when you create a game that has difficulty or challenge, you just have to make sure that when you die, it's because you messed up, not because the game glitched or you felt cheated, because that's where frustration kicks in. When you die in Fracked, it's because you messed up, you overreached, you stayed out of cover too long, or you were just careless in some ways.
That tree
maybe not.
Should have gotten out of the way when it saw me coming.
That's true.
Yeah. It's interesting to hear that it took you 3.5 hours to finish it, Miles, because we heard something.
I died a lot though.
We heard something similar from Wes when he was on the show, and it kind of, adding an extra hour to what took me 2.5 hours when I felt like I really took my time. That's a significant amount of time. That's a significant difference. So I like hearing that. Like other people are experiencing a longer game than I did. It's like more value. Feels like.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what parts would have slowed me down, but then we'd be going into spoiler territory. But I think it's just throughout I was generally just being a bit more gung-ho and not covering a lot and dying a lot, and I was totally okay with that.
Yeah. No, I want to do a platinum trophy run. I want to get through this. I feel like doing the hard mode on a live stream might get frustrating. It could be a 10-hour live stream.
Nah, you would. Yeah, I don't know. I found doing it on a live stream earlier today it puts this different pressure on you. I think it makes you a bit even more careful. I don't know, but I know there's a lot of game cats that are currently attempting it, and huge credit to them all because it's a real tough trophy. Like if you get that platinum trophy, it's one of those ones that you've earned it.
All right, I think we should probably move on. Talk about a game that actually did get an update recently. Did it? When did this update come out, AJ?
Yesterday.
Right.
Drunken bar fight. Oh my god, I caught so much flack just for tweeting about this. Don't shoot the messenger, guys. I'm trying to share the VR news, okay? Drunken bar fight got a huge update, actually. It got a brand new level called the Police Station, which is out now on every platform. That new police station level also has 46 new items. You see stuff in the little gameplay clip with like some handcuffs and different stuff. You can like handcuff people together now. And then apparently 4-player multiplayer, which I don't know if this is actually local or online. And then the final thing says endless mode is fixed. I don't know what that means.
I mean, this game had so many problems, kind of from the beginning, and then they kept updating it and updating it, updating it. As they updated it, they added more and more problems to it on the way. So it's great that they fixed some of this shit, but I really hate to say it, I kind of just don't care anymore. It was fun for a goof. And I think they should have just left it alone from the get-go. And people are like, oh, we need multiplayer. It's like, you really don't, man. You're going to jump in and throw some dudes around, and 20 minutes later, you're going to be bored out of your fucking skull. And be like, and now you're going to waste developers' time asking for multiplayer. I just don't think it's necessary. And I think this was a joke that got out of hand. I think they should have just left it alone.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say I had a bit of a guilty pleasure with it because I know that Drunken Bar Fight was quite big when VR kicked off because there was those like videos on Facebook of the guys chatting in this bar, and for people that had not played VR and like, what is this? Like when they're talking, their mouths are moving and they're like drinking everything and then just lobbing people off the balcony, and it's just really cartoony. And then I thought, when I got PSVR, I'll give it a go. And it didn't have multiplayer, and I thought that should have been right off the bat because that was the whole joke, which is you get to just chill with your friends and do outrageous stuff. But the fact that it's been this far along, they're adding these 4-player multiplayer. As you say, the joke's like long gone. And I kind of feel when you were reading out all the features, AJ, the phrase that was missing from like, due to popular demand, you can now fight in a police station. Like, where did these ideas come from? Like, I want to know what this community is that's demanding all these features. Like the multiplayer, yeah, but a police station, I'd love to have seen what the drawing board was for that. Of, yeah, this is where we got to take the story next.
The last update was a Black Friday update, which was like basically a shopping center. This is the problem with this game and its updates. I didn't actually even bother to play this one because I just don't really care anymore. Like Brian said, I totally agree. This game was good when it was simple, and it was like good is a strong word. It was
strong word.
It was like it was like kind of a novelty to it. But with every update, this game to me just got worse and worse. It's the only time I've ever seen updates actually make a game worse. So this could maybe fix some of those things potentially. Perhaps it could be a little bit better. But I have just no interest at all.
Shout out to End Dreams. Seems to be they're dropping keys in the chat. Are they dropping Fracked keys in the chat? Is that what's happening over there?
I have no idea.
I'm trying to keep up on this conversation and that conversation. So thank you, End Dreams, for being here and dropping keys and hooking up the cats. It looks like Alvo's here too. So they're going to be.
Have you got any Drunken Bar Fight keys maybe being dropped? By anyone?
There will not be any Drunken Bar Fight keys this evening, folks. Sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, like the last time I stopped into this, I think it was after whatever the Walmart update was. So it was yet another new area with a bunch of new stuff to play with, and new characters to take down and stuff. And it just, it is what it is. But at a certain point, you're just like, I don't think you're convincing anyone new to play your game. I hate getting to the point where I'm at, same place AJ's at, where I'm just not interested in even checking out the updates to even relay to you guys. Like, hey guys, I played Drunken Bar Fight, and here's everything at a certain point, I'm like, no, my time's more valuable than this. Your time's more valuable than this. Hopefully they're making another game, man, and doing something other than porting Tarzan VR, which, by the way, did get better. That game plays so much better than it did at launch. So I don't know. These guys aren't a total disaster. VR Monkey, sorry. If anyone from VR Monkeys out there, like we're rooting for you. We're just not thrilled with this game specifically. All right.
Dreams just said, "Sorry, Brian, I didn't even ask permission to hand out keys." It's like, no.
Is that something you have to do?
Yeah,
dude. You got to ask AJ for permission, man. I don't have any say what happens around here.
Bad end dreams.
Nice.
How dare you steal our crowd from it? No. Guys, so that moves us. No, thank you really so much. And congratulations on the release, man. I'm fracking excited. So
AJ, what's the next
Rim
story?
Rim VR just
I think you were halfway through the word Skyrim when you ditched.
Rim. Guys, Skyrim finally has an announcement. Can you believe it? It's coming. Skyrim is actually being released.
Finally,
wow.
After all this time, we're waiting for Skyrim to come out. It's finally
waiting
coming.
for 10 years.
Yeah.
The anniversary edition to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of Skyrim has been announced. It will be available November 11th this year. And it is a special edition that will include, it says 500 Creation Club elements. It's got like a couple new features, not many. I guess there's like fishing now, which is in it, which is kind of cool. But it is a next-gen upgrade. And so I've been getting asked nonstop, does this include the VR support? And I just want to say,
stop asking
no.
him. I just want to say, we don't fucking know. Stop asking us stupid questions. God damn it. No.
This is not. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, they said nothing about VR. That's it. No, they didn't. They said nothing about VR. We're talking about PlayStation 5 version, which is great because at a certain point we were like, well, that's it for PlayStation. Once Bethesda was purchased by Microsoft, that's it. No more. We're done. Right? And so there were two camps, people thinking that they were still going to try to get their money by selling us stuff over here on PlayStation and keeping maybe some like first-party brand new exclusive to Xbox. There's so many different business models for them to kind of do the things to not only make their $8 billion back after purchasing Bethesda, but also make it attractive for people to come and play on Xbox rather than PlayStation. Like you don't just buy a company without a plan. And this kind of shows us that part of the plan is to not keep everything exclusive, right?
But this made me ask the question, guys. So this does make me think. Do you think, with how many versions they've remastered this game 1,000 times, with how many versions have come out, do you think, even with the acquisition of Bethesda by Microsoft, do you think we will see an upgraded PSVR version for PSVR 2?
No.
No.
No, yes, absolutely.
Well played.
But I've talked enough. Miles, what do you think? Do you think that's going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, did Skyrim VR come with the launch of PlayStation VR? Was it? It wasn't.
It was the following
right at the
year.
start.
I think it was a 2017 title. I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those games, isn't it, where they have they've done that. It's what I was saying earlier with Fracked, that when you make a new game, it's building all the mechanics and that. But when you've got a game that you've just had to remaster, that's all the heavy lifting. And so, if they have the means to port it to PSVR, and sorry, did we say that there's a VR version for PC headsets, or there wasn't any mention of that either? Like, it's not going to come for Oculus, for example.
Not that I'm aware of, but that's like so outside of my realm of what I keep an eye on.
Yeah, because that's my only thought really is I'm sure they would go towards that first, because there's all these conversations with Xbox, and when Phil Spencer's been asked about will Xbox do VR, and they say, look, if we do a separate device for VR, then why does it have to be Xbox? It's about Game Pass and like having VR games on Game Pass that can be then used on the Oculus and the Index and things like that. So it wouldn't surprise me if there is kind of some strategy there. Whether it means that they say we'll release it on all of them except for PSVR, I don't know. I know they're doing a lot of balancing at the moment where they do want to transition to exclusivity, but they don't want to upset the people. Because even Pete Hines from Bethesda said on an interview that he's sorry. Like he just said, quite frankly, when he was asked about the fans that have been upset that you're going exclusive with Xbox, he was like, yeah, it sucks. As a gamer, I can totally understand that, and I'm sorry, but that's just the way it goes. And so, they know what's going on, and they want to transition. So this could be a good opportunity for them to keep that goodwill.
Yeah, the Looper to Gamecat with the €5 says, didn't Bethesda publish Doom 3 as a PSVR exclusive after the acquisition? That a lot of deals were in place before the acquisition, and Bethesda made it very clear that they're going to honor all those deals, and Doom 3 was one of those. So some stuff like this could potentially have happened after the fact, and so I think we're going to slowly start seeing what their actual plan is for rollout after this. I think we're going to see things like Doom, Fallout, Skyrim, like things that are just ubiquitous with all consoles at this point. I think we're going to remain; those will remain on all consoles. I think they'll keep pumping out fucking remasters of all of those games for as long as they can, and just sell as many copies of this as they possibly can. So, but I think things like Starfield, Starfield will probably be an Xbox One exclusive. Xbox Series X exclusive. Fuck the name convention.
Well,
it's so ridiculous.
The good news, guys, is that I spoke to Ken Thane, executive producer of Doom 3 VR Edition over at Archaeact after Doom 3 released, and he said that Bethesda still has interest in VR. So obviously he doesn't know all of their plans, but he said that they were the ones that approached Archaeact. It wasn't the other way around. And they said, hey, we want to make Doom 3 VR, and he said that even after this acquisition, that they still expressed a lot of interest in it. So for me personally, I've beaten Skyrim twice, once on PS3, once on PSVR. PSVR being the best version I played by far, not even close. And to me, the thing that would interest me the most. I don't think a graphical overhaul would really interest me very much because the game is gorgeous and stunning on a PS4 Pro or PS5. What would interest me is if they actually go in and implement the haptics, the DualSense controls, and all of that stuff. If they actually put some work into it, which they're a AAA company, you kind of expect them to, then I will be very, very interested to experience this game once again.
Well, one of the cliches with the whole haptic feedback on the DualSense was it feels like when you pull a bow and arrow, it feels like it's happening. And they use that again and again. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, we get it. It's going to work. But actually in VR, the haptics with two hands, that is when it's going to really feel like pulling a bow and arrow. So that's going to be really great if they can do that. A sort of side point in the conversation around Bethesda and that, it was announced, I think, yesterday that Quake is getting remastered. And I just looked up now, that is a part of Bethesda. For me, that's another example of a game that they could do a VR port, because those fast-paced first-person games, especially when they're really old classic games, and I'm sort of speaking like, oh, it's easy to port into VR. I know there's a process, and it's whether or not they want to allocate those resources. And I guess what you're saying, AJ, about, if they're going to do it for next-gen VR, they're really going to have to embrace all the tools. It's not just going to have to be a simple port, because PlayStation are really being quite hard about the requirements, with these hybrid AAA games. They're going to say, if you come to our system, we want you to use all these features that we have.
Yeah, big time. And we don't know. Like, yes, here's a PlayStation 5 version, and I do believe, I could be wrong. It's a free upgrade, right? For the PlayStation 5 version for existing owners on the PlayStation 4, not the VR, because it's a separate purchase. Yeah, I think so. But I could totally see them doing. I could totally see them just reselling us Skyrim yet again. Here's another $60/$70 title, Skyrim VR, PSVR 2, now with orb controls, now with super high resolution graphics, now with, HDR, you name it, right? And be like, this is the most beautiful version of Skyrim, most immersive version of Skyrim ever. And so I wouldn't see them adding PSVR 2 support to this title specifically. I see them fucking selling it to us all over again and not making it a hybrid game like is Sony's model. And this would be the way for Microsoft to make their fucking money.
As per IGN, this upgrade is not free.
There was a post that said it was free, and then Bethesda retracted that.
It was corrected, right?
Yeah,
right.
so that's interesting. All right, guys.
Bethesda thought, that's a good idea. We could have made money from that. Actually, yeah, it's not free. Quick slap it on. That's a great idea.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, let's move on to our next story, which is pretty fucking huge. This is like a while back. We heard that Sony had a studio that they never really talked about. Their Manchester studio that was basically tasked with making a AAA PSVR game. And that game was in development for upwards of 5 years, and then they just shut them the fuck down. Polygon recently gave us a little bit more insight into that, right?
That is correct. This was a big thing last year. You know, we knew about the studio, and boy, oh boy, the media sure had a field day with this one. And we had to raise our shields when this was announced, because when this studio was shut down,
and gloom, right?
Oh my God, everyone was like, "Oh, Sony's giving." Even though Sony already said they have VR plans, the media didn't like hesitate to be like, you know, basically Sony's given up on VR. This one studio closed down. It means it's over. Like, they never even released a game. So, but we found the full story, and here's what happened. This was great investigation by Polygon to look into this, to speak to people that worked in the studio, and it was that they were working on a AAA VR helicopter combat search and rescue game. And that's the project that they were working on that never got announced, that was shut down, or that when the studio shut down. And man, I got to be honest with you. You know, I've seen both reactions. I've seen some people say, "Oh, that was really cool. That sounds really cool. I would have loved that." And I've seen people say, "I didn't really care." But for me personally, I was like, hell yeah, a AAA VR helicopter game. I would so be down, especially like harking back to the days of what was that game?
Shoplifter.
No, not that far back. The name will come back to me in a second, but it was but yeah, man. So this was heartbreaking, and the article is a great read. I highly recommend you go check it out, and it goes really into depth about what had happened, and basically, to sum it all up, was that it was a really poor lack of leadership, strong leadership. They were talking about developers being swapped around, developers being told to, hey, work on this, but leave it open so that it can be changed later. And so developers were creating things. And then, yeah, just it was constantly getting changed. They'd work on something for 6 months. They were told to go and work there. They were super excited. And then slowly they started to realize that, oh, man, like this isn't the dream that I was hoping it would be. That this project is kind of a nightmare, and it seemed like everybody just wanted out of it, and it got Desert Strike. Thank you, Justin Cassidy. Desert Strike. I played the hell out of that game, and it was awesome. And yeah, I love helicopters. That Battlefield Vietnam when that introduced choppers, but yeah, man. So really, really interesting story and kind of sad.
Real quick, before we get too far away from it, the Triangulator with the $20 tip says, I just wanted to say it's incredible to have a great dev team and game studio representation on this channel. Shows this is bar none the best place for your PSVR info and community. Thanks, hosts in Gamecat community. Wow. Thank you very much, Triangulator. We really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
And supporting the channel, of course. Dude, the thing I found most interesting about this article is something that like seems to ring true for most Sony studios, first-party studios, is that there wasn't a huge push from Sony to get the ball rolling. They said a majority of the 5 years that they were making this game was pre-production, and because there was a lack of push from Sony, they just didn't do anything. They just kept changing and iterating and saying, "This is what we're doing. Let's fucking move forward with it." Sony is notorious for basically just saying, "We trust you guys. Just do your thing. Like whatever your vision is, go forth and create."
Right.
And in this case, this specific case, it sounds like they needed a little bit more leadership. They needed a little bit more structure. Sony needed to step in and go, "Come on, guys, get the fucking ball rolling. Like make a game."
Right.
I found.
Yeah,
that
and it sounds like no matter how good the game was, if it wasn't past pre-production after 5 years, I think it was when Herman Hulse sort of took the helm. And was looking at it, and they're sort of going, right, we're moving towards next gen. looking at where projects are, if you've been doing it for 5 years and have made no progress, then that it would be seen as sort of irresponsible for them not to make drastic action. But sort of just a wider point I'd make on this, because I think that, in society generally, we always associate, mistakes or projects that don't come to fruition as failure, as in like a bad thing. And the truth is that Sony has a lot of studios. They have a lot of investments and projects. And sometimes teams come together and sometimes it doesn't work. And I know there are a lot of people online that go, see, they can't get their stuff together. They're trying to do these AAA VR. Clearly it's not working. And for me, it's like, there will be so many lessons from this. And unfortunately, for the people that have worked for 5 years on it, I can imagine it's incredibly disheartening. So I do feel for those people. They were clearly not happy by the end of it. But there will be things that can be then learned from that and invested into new projects. And I think that, for all the studios that Sony has, we can't expect everyone to be a win. There are going to be... And where are there most likely going to be mishaps? In the most experimental space, which is virtual reality, especially AAA virtual reality, which is still uncharted territory.
Yeah, this is it is really reassuring, because this was one of those things. This was a lot of sites were just like screaming from the rooftops, doom and gloom. This just proves that Sony's given up on VR. And I mean, and if you guys don't remember, there was a solid year, maybe like close to 2 years, where that's everything that anybody was reporting was like, Sony's probably given up on VR. And we were like, just want to say we were right the whole time. And it was just really unfortunate to hear about this closing and just fueling that fire. And then to kind of hear what really happened behind the scenes. It had nothing to do with Sony giving up on VR. It's funny, Jay Meow actually asked an interesting question on Discord in the Viewer Takeover channel. You can leave your Viewer Takeover questions over there too. He says, do you think that the closing of Sony's Manchester VR studio was due to their new focus on hybrid VR games?
Well, this is the thing I can tell you, is that this is something that is definitely going to benefit. With Sony focusing on hybrid VR titles, again, you don't have to invest in whole studios. They took so many risks with the first launch of VR. Stuff like Riggs and that Gorilla Cambridge studio closed down. Stuff like this, Manchester studio, closed down. Doing the hybrid approach, they have the money and resources to put into a hybrid version or mode of the game where you can put a lot into it, making it feel built from the ground up, like they say, without having to fund an entire studio. I mean, or at least like a huge building of employees and stuff. And yeah, to me, it's a lot safer, and it's gonna also yield better results, because now you're attaching VR to IPs that people really know and love already.
Yeah, I agree. And personally, I don't think that that their new focus on hybrid games has anything to do with what happened in Manchester. I feel like Manchester would have had a game out by now if they had gotten their shit together. And at a certain point, Sony's really, really good about letting studios do what they want. They're oddly not focused on the financial viability of certain projects sometimes. They're all about how they look to the fans. They want to show Sony fans that they are in their camp. There's no way The Last Guardian was a financial success. They threw money at that and said, no, fucking people want it. They want the next Team Eco game. Just go make it. Do your thing, man. And there's no way they recoup their losses from that. And that's happened time and time again. And I do think that if they saw something in what Manchester was doing that would have been interesting or successful or at least worth sticking with for another year or two, they probably would have. But 5 years in, going, it's going to be a couple more years, you're like, fucking, this is ridiculous. You guys are just eating up our money at this point. So I think that's what happened with that. And maybe it was one of the things that helped Sony come up with the hybrid model and say this isn't always working for us. So it might have been which came first, chicken or the egg. And I think in this case, the Manchester thing helped create the hybrid game initiative.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I think we got to move on to our next topic, which is the Alvo update. The big Alvo update we've been waiting for weeks. It was announced a few weeks back and finally dropped. Was it yesterday? Is that right?
Yep. Wednesday.
I don't know what day today is.
Yeah, it's Friday, Brian.
Guys, was it everything you wanted it to be, AJ?
It was certainly awesome. It was really, I wasn't expecting it. I mean, I was actually expecting it sooner, and then like it just suddenly came out way late at night. It actually was more because, there was three big things as part of this update, and you can unpack them or break them down however you want. One is the move support, which is a great starting point. The move support that was in Alvo already was not like real move support. Like it was kind of like, hey, this works, but this is clearly just like, this is just the basic thing. They've actually added the two-handed stuff, which is really, really cool. I love the feeling of the two-handed tracking.
Nice. Now, Myles, this is you jumped into this for the first time ever today, right?
Yeah, like hours before the show. Yeah, I mean, it was nice to be a virtual fish in a barrel getting shot to pieces again with a new game. I had an absolute blast of it, though. It's always interesting when you hear the conversations about games because it's between the people that have already got the game and the conversation with those that haven't yet jumped in. And obviously there's a lot of conversation in the community about, the price point and, when we live in a VR world where there are so many games you want to try, it becomes difficult. And I have to say, having bought it and jumped into it today, I'm having an absolute blast with it. It's so much fun. And a lot of things I look towards, like Firewall 0 Hour with, like, this feels like Counter-Strike. I realized how wrong I was. Like Firewall 0 Hour does what it does very well. It's very simulation, very slow paced. Alvo, complete opposite. It has that Counter-Strike feel in terms of the map designs. It's, you have team deathmatch, and obviously I'm not able to provide a perspective of the before and after the update, but I believe one of the update features was the nighttime versions of the levels, right? That was awesome. I had real good fun with those levels, and I can't wait to jump back into it.
It's really nice to see the nighttime levels, and the new, are they calling it warehouse? I forget what they called it. Factory. Thank you, because it was if you had extended periods of time where you were just playing Alvo for hours and hours and hours before, it got really old just seeing like the same maps over and over again, being like, oh man, it's like. At a certain point, you're like, well, which one haven't we played? Well, we've played all of them numerous times. And just to see more of them, even though half of them are nighttime modes, that's fine, man. Like it just gives a little bit more variety. It makes you feel like you're doing something a little bit different. But and I do love the new factory map. I think it's one of my favorites. There's so many places to hide. There's the verticality is great. There's stairs everywhere. I feel like they actually took what Honor and Duty D-Day did in their factory map and did it better. And I do love some of Reggie's maps, so that's kind of high praise.
Rax Bro says when AJ says moves are better than the aim, it has to be good.
Wait, did you say they're better? I didn't hear you say they're better. I didn't know people talk.
I changed my. You said you didn't enjoy watching my live streams anymore, so I changed the 2-minute videos, and you can't even watch my 2-minute videos. I see how it is. Yeah, man. I posted a video as soon as this update dropped. I went in and I played for an hour, got a first impressions about it because I wanted to shout it from the rooftops, and I had my first impressions with the Move controllers were amazing. I mean, It took me a second. It took me like a round or two to get used to it. But then I just started slaughtering everybody. And I was able to do so much stuff. Stuff like the slide. I'm used to playing this game with the aim primarily. That's what I mostly play with. And everything started to feel familiar again. But it just adds that extra bit of immersion. This is something that Sniper Elite failed to do, which was when you're using the Move controllers, like I wanted so bad to use the Move controllers because it was more immersive in Sniper Elite. But it was terrible to use. It was so slow. It was bad. So clunky. It was awful. This is not the case here, and I really think that the Alvo devs should be they should be praised for their implementation of move support, because it's like, wow, if you would have told me that I could have the option to play a shooting game with the moves, and I could still be competitive and still, I still think maybe aim has like a slight edge. For sure it does, because it's the aim controller and it's like awesome. But I was still slaughtering people with the moves and everything. And yeah, like that to me is good implementation. When the moves are, I was just as competitive as whoever else was playing.
Yeah. I will say that to me, Alvo always felt like it was almost a game, right? It's like, okay, we got the maps. A lot of the maps are great. Like, we got the weapons. A lot of the weapons are great. Running around feels good. Shooting each other feels good. But never felt like there was like this cohesive thing that made it a game. And I think I think that has to do with, being born and raised on first-person competitive shooters in PlayStation VR specifically, because I was never really into that kind of game before PSVR. Firewall basically said this is what these kind of games should be like, and so there were certain things that were missing in Alvo that I feel like this update sort of brought to the table. And one of those things is when a level ends, it doesn't feel like you just wasted your time. When a match ends, you don't feel like you wasted your time. There's the upgrade system, the progression system, progression is one of my favorite things in any video game ever, because you never feel like you're wasting your time. If you make any progress, you're
the
upgrading.
grind.
Yes, absolutely. And I just love watching that meter fill up. I love watching my levels go up. I love seeing that the weapon that I chose to use during that match get upgraded, and then suddenly you're able to purchase new upgrades for that specific weapon. I think this is what Alvo was missing at launch, because it was sort of like within 30 minutes they were like, here you go, everything's available, just buy what you fucking want, you're good. And I was like, wait, where's the game? This is such a cool, and I hate using the word tech demo, but it felt like a tech demo because they had all of the pieces but didn't have the glue that made it feel cohesive like a game. And now it feels cohesive like a game to me. And this is the best update for a game I've seen in recent memory. I love this.
And the zombie mode is going to be unlocked soon. Is that like, it's a part of this update, but it's not unlocked
It's
yet?
not part of this update. It's
Okay.
definitely a future update. They don't have a release date for it, but we've seen screenshots from it. We know that that they are working on it, and it's nice to see it in the menu screen. To be like, oh, man,
That's what I was going to say.
so
Great
close.
teaser. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it looks really cool, and I love what I'm seeing from the zombie mode. That'll be coming soon as well, or coming at some point. There's no like schedule for it yet. But I like that it's more than just a kind of a wave shooter. Like there's actually going to be some kind of like mechanics to it, like earning currency and unlocking guns. Progression system. Speaking of, you said progression system, man. That's the shocking part. Out of all the things in this update, man, I do love the moves update. So it's kind of equal, but the progression system overhaul was such a must, because like you said, you blow through this game real quick, and then like you have everything, and you like, for me, the gameplay was so fun, but I couldn't find a reason to keep playing. I needed something to like motivate me to continue playing. And I'm really glad that they hit the reset button. Now everything has to be unlocked with you have to get a certain level, you have to have a certain amount of currency, and I love to grind. And like, so having all this stuff in there now is so much better. Also, just the UI itself. They revamped the UI, and it's all nice and polished now. You end a match, and it's got like the bullet. You hear like the bullet shells dropping, and it's like ching 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 ching, and like all that stuff. It's just really nice and really polished. In addition to existing now.
If you ever want the grind to feel extra satisfying in a game, when you've completed a level and it fills up your XP bar, that sound effect is very important, and I get so much joy from hearing that sound in that game. I don't know what they've used. It's like when you get the headshot sound effects in certain games, the ding, just makes it extra satisfying. But yeah.
Yeah, what was that? A recent game where you pull off a headshot and it sounds like a frying pan hitting somebody over the head.
Oh.
What was that? That was something.
I know Fortnite had it at first when it first came out, but like a VR game, I'm not sure. A lot of games start off with that. They're like, probably a last minute thought in the development. They're like, we haven't done the headshot noise. What should we use? Frying pan. Get a frying pan. Hold it next to the microphone.
Yeah. No, this is a really pleasant surprise because again we had been waiting for this update for a while. This has been promised for an update, and we're really happy that it's here. The new maps are fantastic, and that gives me a lot of hope for the other promised new maps that are on the way. They got the Tokyo one and another one they've been teasing. I think Alvo has a really bright future. So I think we're
if they continue supporting it like this, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we're going to gradually, at launch, we were like, oh my God, I can't believe they're charging $40 for this. Even the $30 plus discount was like,
it was a
little steep. I think they're gradually going to make that price point feel worthwhile. I don't like when they do it that way, but if that's the way they've chosen to do it, then, cross your fingers that these updates keep coming, because if that happens, then we will get there.
Yeah,
especially with multiplayer. Especially with multiplayer games, it's all about the journey of onward add-ons and just keep working with the community. Swordsman again that I mentioned earlier, not a multiplayer game, but they keep adding to it, keep giving you reasons to come back. And I'm not going to go into game names here, but there are a lot of games that I loved, and I was hoping that they would just do a roadmap, and there was nothing to show. And it was like, as someone who loved particular games, I'm not going back, because when it comes to multiplayer, you've got to convince other people to log on at the same time and play it. And so, with these add-ons, it should make the Alvo community grow more and more.
Yeah. Actually, Stingray X in the chat says, kind of a low blow that they do the major updates when the sale is happening. I think it's kind of the opposite. It's sort of like, hey, how many different ways can we draw attention to our game and say, hey, we are still supporting it. And also, if you didn't get that, if you've been holding off for a sale or you missed the introductory sale price, then here now that people are going to talk about it again, we're going to drop the price again so that you have another chance to jump in at the same price everyone else jumped in at.
I was so mad when Space Junkies went on sale, right? And then the sale ended right before the move update or whatever. I was like, guys, what, you couldn't have, you screwed that up so bad. So this is the exact opposite of that. Yeah, it's a much better move and easier to recommend that way for sure.
And Alvo's $30, right? On sale at the moment?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And £21, Great British pounds.
We have no idea what that means. So, all right, you
guys.
Just
alien money.
We are at the very end of the show, which means it's time for PSVR 20 questions. I'm going to be your host. I thought of a PlayStation VR game in my head. These guys and all of you in the chat have 20 yes or no questions to figure it out. You also have 6 minutes.
We got this, Myles. We got this.
Yeah,
I can't make silly questions like I do in the comments. I've actually got to play this properly.
This is what we do. This is what we do to you. If you make silly questions in the comments, we pull you into the show and say, "Look how easy it is." It's not.
This is true. That is what the pitch was. Yeah, it was like, we're not having you mess up 20 questions again.
It's called vengeance.
I'll let you go first, AJ.
Timer's up. Do it.
Show us how it's done.
Does this have aliens in it?
No.
When you're playing this game, do you have hands?
Yes. Wait, I'm gonna go with pretty sure. I'm gonna take that question back. I think pretty sure, but
Is this a DualShock 4 only game?
It is not a DualShock 4 only game.
Okay.
I've got such short memory. We haven't asked. Does it have multiplayer?
It does. It does have multiplayer. It's 3.
Ooh. Have these developers made other PSVR games?
Published? Perhaps?
Published, perhaps. How many questions are we on?
That's 4.
Okay. Good. Still early.
Shout out to Nihilus Ryan, the Game Feline with a $5 tip. Says, Happy Friday with a big heart. Big heart right back to you.
Yeah. Nihilus Ryan, the Game Feline.
Oh, Darth just said the pressure is on Myles. Yeah, I'm feeling so much pressure right now.
It's tough, right? It's so much harder than you think it is.
Just rapid fire categories or something like that.
Yeah. Did it come out in the last 2 years?
Let me check the.
I mean, that's pretty arbitrary.
Date.
Should we say 2019, 2020 to now?
No, it did not. That's 5.
Does it have more than 2-person multiplayer?
Does it have more than 2-person multiplayer? Yeah, it does. It's 6.
Is the game aesthetic realistic?
I think that's what it's going for. It's not, to answer your question, it's not like cartoony, cell shaded, that kind of thing. No.
Are there mechs in this game?
I don't believe there's mechs in this game. I had to think about that. I don't know. That'd be weird. Pretty sure there's not. If there is, there's not a lot of them.
GC13 says, has AJ said, this game is awesome, let's go, in a live stream of it?
Is that a real question?
No.
Okay, because I have a pretty solid answer for that.
Have you played it this year?
Have I personally played it this year?
Yeah.
Not on a live stream. I do believe I played it this year, though. I'm not even going to count that question because I don't think it's going to help you. It's not going to help you knowing what I played personally.
Sure. Well, it might tell whether or not it's a game that you think's worth, But I suppose you might have done it.
I'm with Brax Bro here, who is it sci-fi?
It's not sci-fi.
Damn it, maybe I should ask maybe futuristic, but I don't know if that helps.
If it was futuristic, I probably would have said it's futuristic, not sci-fi.
Okay.
So you can take that as a freebie now.
Okay. We're on number 10.
This will be question number 10, and you've only got 2 minutes left, 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
All right, we got to start firing away. Is it a horror game?
Yeah, it's got horror elements for sure.
Multiplayer horror elements. Multiplayer horror elements.
Whoa, we're halfway there.
Keep going, AJ, if you're thinking of stuff, because I'm.
Is there shooting in it?
There's shooting in it. Yes, that's 11.
Are there zombies in it?
There are zombies in it. Yes.
Does it start with an A?
It starts with an A. That's interesting. I don't think we've ever used that before. Wait, don't tell me.
You know what it is, Miles? Does it have 2 words in the name?
Yes. This is a weird line of questioning. We've never actually asked questions about this specific name.
Oh my goodness.
That's so funny.
Is it Arizona Sunshine?
Yeah.
15. Yes, it is. Arizona Sunshine. I specifically...
And is it hands? Hands.
I went into panic mode.
That's why I wasn't totally sure.
Worked.
Does it?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just a gun. Did you just see your weapon? Because
I
think you have hands until you hold a weapon, then it's just the weapon. Is that right?
And it goes to the move control as well, I think, for a bit, doesn't it, as well, yeah.
Yeah, it's all sorts of messy.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, you did it with 5 questions to spare in a full minute to spare, so good job.
Somebody said Arizona Sunshine, and I kind of ignored it, and I need to look and see who that was.
Yeah, someone said it quite early on.
I need to think.
Do you know when you play that game on this show, it actually gets harder the closer you get to the answer. It gets to the easy bit, and my mind was going blanker. Like at the start, I was like, "This could be Arizona Sunshine," and by the end, I was like, "I honestly can't think of one VR game right now."
No, it doesn't get any easier either. That's how it happens. Like we've been playing this game for months, and that's exactly the case. Guys, we got to get moving here, but I want to give a shout out to everybody who helps keep this channel running. That includes Myles over here that does our Instagram account. Thank you to Jamie, who's getting our website up and running, and gets this show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all sorts of streaming services. So thank you very much. Also, shout out to SciFiGamecatHenry, who makes sure that this show has timestamps a few hours, of course, after it airs. But thank you very much for doing that. I want to give a shout out to each and every single one of our moderators who keeps the chat civil. Although I'm pretty sure the chat's pretty civil, man. They're doing a good job over there. But they also take care of the Discord server. If you haven't joined our Discord server, make sure you click that link in the description below. Guys, we gotta get moving here. But thank you so very much. We hope you all have an excellent weekend. Thank you to everybody who participated in the chat. Thank you to everybody who helped during 20 questions. Thank you to everybody who donated during the show. Donates on Patreon as well. You guys are keeping the lights on. We love you so very much. And of course, thank you to each and every single one of you who sat back, watched the show, didn't say a goddamn word. Myles, thank you so much for filling in during Dave's absence. He's on vacation, hanging out with some cats out in the woods somewhere with no internet. So we appreciate you filling in for him, bud.
Thanks for having me. And yeah, everyone, follow PSVR Without Parole on Instagram if you haven't already. And if you're ever playing VR games, tag us on your stories and then we can share it. And it's just good to see what everyone's playing out there.
There you go. And don't forget to check out Myles Dyer's YouTube channel. It's called Myles Dyer. It's also his Twitter account at Myles Dyer.
Yeah. Just search my name.
He's verified everywhere. Guys, let's cue the cat.
The cat, Brian, because I want to say have a great weekend to GC13, the Diet Pepsi cat, who was talking trash the entire episode. Thank you very much.
Right.
As she should.
Started drinking early today, didn't you?
That Aftershocks update ain't gonna finish itself. Quit to the single player game, Cat Alvo VR. Thank you so much, guys. Congratulations on the update. Huge update. Give us more. I love what I'm seeing so far. We forgot to mention that they're also going to add a manual reload in the future. Gabriel 004, the license to meow game cat. Meow, 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 meow. Guy son, fist bump to you. Brax, bro, old Darth says, smash the like Tarzan. Smash the like Tarzan. Breath is a cat that sleeps all day, but he's awake with us because
it's not day. It's no longer day. It's night.
Endeavor One in the chat. Thank you for your wisdom, Sensei Ninja Cat. Jason Ewing says howdy. Goodbye, Jason. Alberto Mapom, the game gato. Saludos to you, friend. Mark Pringles Leaf. Emily Baxter, the hashtag Game Kitten. Have a great night. Don't hurt yourself doing those recreational activities you're speaking of in the chat. Creeper Patty, PSVR. And Dreams, have a great weekend as well. Congratulations on your Fracked launch. Let's frack a go, baby. Raven Switch, good to see you. Flame Hat, Game Cat, Scott Jesco, PSN, Harry Fellow, PSVR, Game Cat for life. He says, cue the cat. Good night, all. Good night to you as well. The Triangulator, Triangles everywhere. Nick Mulo, Trusty Mod in the house. Everyone be on your best behavior. Zach Attack, thank you for watching. Paradise Decay, hey, good to see you, homie. Let's see, I think that's it. Stingray X, Baguio 10, Blue Jew, the Underground Game Cat. Guys, you have a wonderful weekend. Donatello, the Scientist, Game Cat, my homie, Space Dennison. Go Trunk, all y'all.
Myles, Myles, one last meow before we go out. Meow. Myles, meow. Meow, meows, meow. Did he already leave us? We're not getting him.
No, he's still there.
We're not getting him.
No, I did. I went.
Oh.
There we go. Good night, everybody. Happy weekend. We love you.